So in this video, I'm getting into the 11 proven signs that an avoidant attachment style person is falling in love with you. And if you're dating one, it may be hard to know how they feel about you. And I'm going to cover what happens when you don't chase and over pursue them too much. So I do have a lot of videos on this subject, so I'm not going to bore you with the details of going into great detail about what an avoidant attachment style is and the other attachment styles. You can check out this video on the screen right up here. It's just a little card up there if you want to learn more. But essentially, it's somebody who is uncomfortable with emotional intimacy. They kind of shut down when they're forced to display emotional intimacy. And they kind of keep everybody out here at arm's length because of childhood attachment wounds. Maybe their mom or their dad did something that kind of traumatized them, and they learned at an early age that the best way to keep themselves emotionally safe was to not let anybody in too close. And why should you not chase someone with an avoidant attachment style? They have a tremendous fear of losing their freedom and their independence. But number two, that emotional intimacy does indeed scare the hell out of them. And if you try and push that too far, they're going to shut down and they will eventually dump you for it. It also makes you look needy and desperate if you're constantly trying to get them to open up and they don't want to. And when they do end things, they're just going to tell themselves that, you weren't right for them, you didn't understand them, you weren't able to give them what they needed. And that is true, but a lot of the times they don't actually recognize that they have the avoidant attachment style. They may not be in therapy for it and they may not be getting help for it, which means they're kind of stuck in that particular scenario and likely going to stay there until they have that kind of moment of clarity. All right, so what are those 11 proven signs that an avoidant attachment style person actually does love you or is falling in love with you? They open up to you emotionally. Again, the avoidant attachment style person is really shut down emotionally. They don't like emotional intimacy. So if you begin to notice signs that they are opening up to you, they're sharing intimate details, they're talking to you about deep, personal, intimate feelings, that's a great sign that they are beginning to trust you. They clearly express themselves using one of the 5 love languages. And it may not be the love language that you respond to or that you use when you give love. And that's okay. It's totally all right if they have a different love language from you. I'm going to display the 5 love languages on the screen here so that you can identify each one and see if any of them resonate with you in terms of how she might be expressing love to you. They want to spend time with you. In other words, they're not retreating, they're not pulling away, which is a clear sign that you're smothering and over pursuing. They actually want to spend time with you and they are initiating getting together with you. They're comfortable asking for space. Avoidant attachment style people need a lot of downtime. They need a lot of alone time. And oftentimes they're afraid to ask for that out of fear of rejection or that the other person, especially if it's an anxious attachment style person, is going to see that as rejection and try and hold on to them closely. So a lot of the time they're afraid to ask for the time and space that they need. So if they are asking for it, if they're comfortable doing it and not in an aggressive way, that's a clear sign that they're beginning to trust you, that you understand them and that you understand their needs and they feel comfortable asking to have their needs met. They let their guard down. That could be being okay with public displays of affection, holding hands, kissing in public. It also could be that they're comfortable with you posting pictures of the two of you on social media accounts, saying in a relationship on your Facebook status, that kind of thing, because avoidant attachment style people often are afraid of those things. They don't really want to let the world know what's going on with them. They kind of, they present this kind of glossy, kind of phony presence on social media in particular, or maybe they hardly have any presence at all because they really don't want the world to know. So as they begin to get comfortable with you, that's going to change and their guard's going to come down. They trust you to be a good listener. And a good listener doesn't just wait their turn to talk. A lot of us tend to do that. We're formulating our response in our heads while the other person is talking. And yeah, we're hearing them, but we're not really listening to them in any in-depth way. So if she feels like you're a good listener, it's because you're really paying attention. Maybe you're repeating back some of the things that you hear her say so that she really feels like you get it. That's really crucial in any relationship, but especially with an avoidant attachment style person. They introduce you to their family and friends. Again, someone with the avoidant attachment style is going to kind of keep everybody at arm's length and they tend to compartmentalize their life as well. They got their family, they got their friends, maybe they have kids, and they don't necessarily commingle those compartments. So if they are beginning to introduce you to family and friends, that's a really good sign that they love you and that they trust you. The next one is they actually talk about being avoidant. A lot of the time, we don't recognize what attachment style we are. I didn't know anything about attachment styles until I got dumped by my now ex-wife, and my therapist at the time gave me a great book called Attached that breaks down the attachment styles. That was really my introduction to the concept, and I began to immerse myself in it from that point forward. Now, if they are aware that they have an avoidant attachment style, even if they don't know the terminology, but if they are recognizing that they have these qualities and tendencies, that's a great thing. Because just like the alcoholic who finally admits that they are an alcoholic, maybe they haven't quit drinking yet, but they had that moment of clarity. So if your partner has that moment of clarity where they recognize their tendencies, they're halfway to fixing it. And not that it necessarily needs to be fixed, but understanding what makes us do the things that we do is mission critical towards having healthy relationships. They see you as a safe port in the storm. What do I mean by that? Well, when the going gets tough, maybe they had a terrible day at work, maybe they got fired, maybe they had an argument and they lost their best friend or something traumatic like that. When my ex-wife, who was an avoidant, actually still is an avoidant attachment style person, when she had something bad happen in her life, guess what? She retreated. I didn't see her for hours or days maybe. And she just would completely pull back and I'd just be sort of left wondering what the heck happened. So if your person is coming to you and they are comfortable sharing their bad day or whatever is going on with them, they see you as safe. And that's a great thing. Absolutely means they are in love with you or well on their way to falling in love with you. They talk with you about their intimate fantasies. You know what I'm talking about here. I'm not going to get into detail out of respect for YouTube, but they're comfortable sharing those intimate fantasies with you, maybe even playing some of those out, but it's okay if you don't do that. But if they're comfortable talking about it with you and you're talking about it back with them, that shows an incredibly intimate connection between the two of you. And that's not easily built with an avoidant attachment style person. So if you're seeing that, that's a great sign. They put effort into their appearance. What I mean by that is they put more effort into their appearance than they did when you first met. In other words, they're going out of their way to really make themselves look attractive for you. Could be how they dress. If we're talking about a woman, it could be hair, makeup, nails, that kind of thing. And they're really going out of their way to entice you with their physical appearance. That means they're comfortable with you. That means they want you to want them, like the old Cheap Trick song goes. And they're excited to see your reaction to how they look. And you do want to make sure you compliment them on how they look if you're noticing that change in their appearance. If you're not sure if the woman or man that you're dating is an avoidant attachment style person, I want you to check out this video right up here on my channel where I kind of walk you through exactly how to know if they indeed are an avoidant attachment style person.